radio show in Arizona.
Number one during your morning commute.
Number one whenever news breaks during your day.
And number one whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man. How the heck are you? A pleasure to be with you on September 22nd, 2021. It is already 2 months to Hawaii.
October is almost here. It's kind of scary.
It is. We, honest to goodness, in 60 days, this ass will be in Hawaii. I'm so excited.
Drunk on the beach watching sunsets,
and
stuff.
Pleasuring ourselves to Caitlin Collins.
Yeah.
We have to talk about your addiction to
It's
to
not
Miss
an
Collins.
addiction. I appreciate beautiful women. What's the problem?
Okay, listen. I've been to your house. I've seen the
No,
damage
I don't
on your
listen.
TV screen.
I just do things.
I just do things.
Yeah. Come on.
Is she like your plus one? Is she?
Yeah. I mean, she'd be the fit. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Wow. You do have a type.
Yeah, everybody says that.
You tend to date women who look a certain persuasion.
Okay. Is that a bad thing?
No.
Okay.
They just happen to look like your aunt. Anyway, the point.
Okay.
I kid. Sup, fellas? Greg Hawkins, good morning to you. Dane, Edgar Garcia, James Knight. We're going to talk Jazz today, James. Brylark says, morning, boys. Utah better just pack the season up and move on to next year because there's something fishy going on there. We tried to tell you. Did we not? And, of course, that is our lead today. The Utah Utes are in shambles. And this continues. The only word that I can keep using is shocking.
Yeah.
This continues to be shocking that Kyle Whittingham football teams losing their starting quarterback. Cam Rising wins the job. No doubt about it. We saw it against San Diego State. Cam Rising is your best quarterback. Well, Charlie Brewer doesn't agree, and Charlie Brewer quit. And, Jake, I guess the question is Charlie Brewer a quitter, or is there massive dysfunction up on the hill?
Nah, so to me, I think it's definitely a combination of both, but I think it skews more towards Charlie Brewer being a quitter. And I don't like to say that about athletes. I very rarely say it. But at the end of the day, what have we seen? We saw Charlie Brewer come to Utah from Baylor. The Baylor situation was basically the same thing. He couldn't win the starting job. He was on the bench, and he decided he wanted to transfer because he felt like he could start at Utah. So then you go through training camp or whatever you want to call it in college football. You work up to everything, and he's named the starter. He comes out, and they're off to a rough start. And I'm tired of hearing people say that BYU did this. BYU had nothing to do with this. This is not a BYU thing. They should not be included in this conversation. San Diego State did this. The performance that Charlie Brewer rolled out there against San Diego State is why this happened. It is a combination of a couple of things. Number one, in terms of Charlie Brewer's accountability, he does not have a strong enough arm to play big-time college football. It's just that simple. Yesterday, I was tweeting with some people, and I said, when your arm is weak, when you do not have a strong arm, you have to compensate that in other areas of your game. Pre-snap read. You got to understand what the defense is doing to you and where the football naturally should go based on what the defense is trying to do to you. That's number one. Number two, you got to understand that the offensive line you're playing behind at Utah is not very good right now, which is why I say it's a little bit of Utah, but mostly Charlie Brewer. This offensive line is a problem, which is why we've seen changes now on the offensive line. So that's number two. And then number three, mentally, I can't get down with Charlie Brewer and what he's doing. I can't get down with it. I can't get down with the mentality that, hey, I'm going to transfer around from school to school to school until I find a nice landing spot where I'm going to be able to start no matter what. That's not how sports work. You don't get participation trophies in major D1, Power 5 conference college football. That's not how it works. So when I saw, oh my God, Charlie Brewer left Utah, I wasn't like, oh man, Kyle Whittingham's program is burning to the ground. No, what I saw is, hey, Kyle Whittingham made the pragmatic decision last week against San Diego State and brought Cam Rising in, and Charlie Brewer couldn't handle that mentally. And so he was like, all right, I'm going to transfer, and I'm going to go and find another spot where I can get another chance. And I'm telling you right now, when you transfer from program to program to program, number one, guys don't respect you. Number two, coaches don't respect you.
So wait. You're putting this 100% on
100%.
Charlie Brewer.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. I don't think anything's ever that black and white. I think that Charlie Brewer very clearly has issues, and I think you're probably right. There's frustration on Charlie Brewer's part that he got beat by Cam Rising here, because Charlie Brewer left that game and all of a sudden we were in overtime.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is on Cam Rising. But I think it's awfully difficult for me anyways to look at what is going on at Utah football. And before we knew that Charlie Brewer quit yesterday, I think we were on this show yesterday morning saying, hey, there's a problem at Utah. There are significant issues. There are significant chemistry problems. This is atypical of Kyle Whittingham football programs. And then all of a sudden, the bombshell drops that Charlie Brewer has quit the program and essentially has said, I don't want to be here anymore after 3 games. I have trouble believing that a kid who competed at the highest levels at Baylor and did pretty darn well, by the way, all of a sudden just flipped the script, Jake, and quit and said, nah, I give up. I'm out.
Well, here's why I think that is the case. I think that's the case because whose side are we going to take? Are we going to take, how long has Whit been at Utah now? What has it been, like 10 plus years now?
Oh, way more than that, yeah.
Way more than that. So, like, typically the issue at Utah is you don't have quarterback talent. You don't have anybody back there. Travis Wilson, like all these people who have come in and played the position at Utah have been mediocre and not gotten the job done. The problem is that's been okay at Utah because Utah's a defensive school. Utah is a handed off to the running back school, right? So this time around, when I see a guy in Charlie Brewer who was hyped, and I love Charlie Brewer, admittedly. I've been on the show saying, hey, this guy, like, I thought he had a much better arm than he did, mainly because he made some throws early in the year that I was like, yeah, this guy's got an arm. This guy can get the job done. And all of a sudden, you roll out against San Diego State, and all of your throws are like 3-4 yards short. All of your throws are just well underthrown. Like, how does that work? Now, I understand that the offensive line has not been good. I 100% agree with that. And that definitely contributed to Charlie Brewer's departure from this program. There's no question about that. But I'm just a firm believer, whether it's at the pro level or in college football, as a quarterback, you are a leader of the football team. It's not good enough to go out there and not play well because, well, my offensive line sucks or this or that. My arm hurts. It's not good enough. You're a leader on this team. You're the starting quarterback at Utah. The mentality has to be, yeah, is my offensive line not the best? Absolutely, it's not the best. It's not the best. I'm going to be running around. That's part of the gig here. I get it.
Yes.
Secondly, hey, I don't have the strongest arm in all of college football. I have a below average arm. That doesn't mean I'm a bad quarterback. But what it does mean is that I have to be on point with understanding what the defense is doing to me and what I'm trying to do on any given play. Am I throwing the ball into the flat? Let me lead my receiver. Am I on the right hash trying to throw to the left sideline?
Well, look, I don't think anybody's arguing that Charlie Brewer has a noodle. I don't think anybody's arguing that. Like his arm strength was a question before he ever left Waco, and I think once he was a Ute, I think we saw that. But there are ways to compensate for that.
Yeah.
Are we really just going to overlook the issues on the offensive line? Are we really going to just overlook the issues of a straight-up lack of talent in the wide receiver room? I don't think you can do that. And I think the issue is that you have a guy in Charlie Brewer who's used to winning at a very high level. And when you bring a guy like that in and all of a sudden he's not winning, that's a hell of a transition for him to make. It is very difficult to say to a kid who's used to dominating on the football field, yeah, you're going to be mediocre and we're going to take your job from you. And now we expect you to support Cam Rising. That's a lot for a kid who's probably never failed in his football career to do. So, yeah. Did Charlie Brewer handle this well? Well, very clearly not. He quit the football team yesterday or whenever that happened. But I think we have significant issues at the University of Utah, and I don't know what it's going to take to fix those issues. My guess is winning is what it's going to take because I hope you kick the crap out of Washington State this weekend. Nick, unvaccinated Rolovich and his Cougars coming to town. Good luck with that. And in my opinion, this is the make or break game, because if you go 1-3, now it's almost a foregone conclusion that Kyle Whittingham's on a farewell tour, because that's the other 10,000-pound gorilla in the room that nobody's talking about, is that we continue to hear whispers and rumors that this is it for Kyle Whittingham at Utah. And I'm curious how true those rumors are, because I'm telling you now, whether you appreciate all the best and all the worst of Kyle Whittingham, replacing Whit is not going to be an easy task, because it's not as simple, as elevating an assistant coach. It's not as simple, as going out and hiring some other guy. This is an iconic figure. This is a guy that will forever be part of Utah football history in the very best of ways. And to think that Morgan Scalley is going to get elevated and just simply step in and replace Kyle Whittingham, I don't think it's that simple. And frankly, I don't know that Morgan Scalley would be the guy that they would want to turn to after what happened with that texting scandal. So I think there is a lot of complex issues at play, and you better appreciate Kyle Whittingham while he's here, because I don't think he's going to be here long.
Yeah, I genuinely felt like when the news came out that Charlie Brewer left, and then we heard that there were changes on the offensive line, and there was basically a lot of change happening in the program. I felt like, hey, this is a great sign. This shows me that Kyle Whittingham is still committed to winning at the highest levels. He changed his quarterback last week.
Yeah.
He had no way to know that Charlie was going to leave. So, in my opinion, the Charlie Brewer thing isn't even on Kyle Whittingham or really anybody except for Charlie Brewer. Then, secondly, again, you're making changes and holding people accountable for their lack of performance on the line. But I do agree with you. It is a fair point that, hey, when you don't have good talent in your wide receiver room, and you don't have good talent at the skill position, that's not helping your case. So, obviously, for accountability purposes, yeah, Kyle hasn't done a great job recruiting for this year's team. So, they're just in an interesting time. If they go to 1-3, yeah, is he on the hot seat? Absolutely. But based on his actions and his choices and what's going down in the program right now, I don't think that the guy wants to retire. I don't think that he's done coaching football yet. I think that he is putting fires out. I think that he is making changes to up the level of this team. And that's all you can ask your head coach to do.
Well, and the question that I think you have to answer now is, what's wrong with QBs at Utah? Because you have a situation with Jake Bentley. Jake Bentley's a guy, and I'll look up his numbers, but Jake Bentley's another interesting guy. Jake Bentley, come on, sorry. Of course, when I need it to be fast, it's not. Jake Bentley threw for 3,000 yards, 27 touchdowns in a season, and that's in the SEC. He comes to Utah and is an absolute bust. You look at Charlie Brewer, what does the guy have, 50, 60 touchdowns and 9,000 yards at Baylor? And all of a sudden, the guy can't play football anymore at Utah. I think what's interesting to me is that if you are not in the program at Utah, transferring into the Utes to be their starting quarterback is probably not what's best for your career. I don't know. Is that a system thing? Clearly it is, because again, I think we all know that BYU and every other school in the Pac-12 recruits against Utah by saying, hey, if you want to be a quarterback, you're not going to Utah. They don't throw the ball. They're a run-first team. Look at their wide receiver production. They don't put wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, for Charlie, if you look at his 2019 stats at Baylor, the guy put out. I mean, you're talking about playing 14 games, 251 completions on 389 attempts. That's going to be a 64.5 completion percentage. Really good. 31-61 for yards, 8.1 yards per attempt, like 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That's a little high, but, it's doable. So, I mean, this guy can throw the football. So, yes, I agree. It does beg the question, what's the deal with Utah and quarterbacks? Because they never can seem to keep one. They never can seem to get that dynamic talent to put out for them in an entire season.
How do you throw for 3,171 yards at South Carolina?
Yeah.
And 27 touchdowns
Yeah.
and then you come to Utah and throw for 882 yards, 6 scores, 6 interceptions.
I don't know.
How does that? Well, it's got to be a coaching and talent gap. That's
Well, that's
how
definitely
else?
what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how else do you explain?
It's a crappy offensive line. It's a lack of wide receiver talent. And those combinations paired with a weak arm are not good. I mean, again, on his arm, it would be great because here's the thing: when you have, let's say, he had a plus arm, like an over the top strong arm,
Sure.
you can overcome a bad offensive line with that. You can throw guys open with that. You can do some things. It gives you some options. But when you don't have a strong arm, when you can't power the ball down the field or into tight windows, or it makes your life really difficult, because if your guys are not getting open and you don't have 4.340 speed
That's right.
outside, you're not going to be able to get the football to guys, and that's why I say I just think that San Diego State game, it's not even that San Diego State is some like world-beating team. They're a great program. They put out a tough football team every year, but it's not like San Diego State is going to compete for a national championship or anything. So when you went to San Diego State and you got your ass kicked in the first half, and then you roll out and you come right back with a guy who admittedly has a pretty strong arm in Cam Rising, it just I almost feel like Charlie was embarrassed about it. I almost feel like Charlie took it personally and was like, you know what? F this, F that. Like I have a crappy offensive line, nobody to throw the ball to. Let me get a new start. And my biggest thing with that mentality is just that in sports, quitting is not an option. When it gets hard, quitting's not an option. That's my biggest problem with Charlie Brewer.
Yeah, and I go back to, I don't know, Travis Wilson and Kendall Thompson. I go back to, Travis Wilson, I think, is the only 4-year starter in the history of Utah football. That should tell you something. And you look at who's the truly elite quarterback that's come out of Utah. I mean, Alex Smith is the guy that comes to mind. I mean, I just don't know how you change this with Kyle Whittingham as your head coach. And for better or for worse, this is who it is. My biggest concern is that there are significant issues there, and we are watching the flaming pile of turd that is going to be the last season of Kyle Whittingham football. I don't want it to end like this.
And as you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
Seriously. Like, I want better he deserves better.
He does.
But I feel like a lot of the responsibility for this situation has to be on Kyle Whittingham. I mean, the buck stops with Whit, and I just think that Kyle Whittingham has never valued offense as much as he's valued defense. He never has, he never will. And I think that this is where it comes back to get you. Because I think when you look around the Pac-12, man, it's not going to be easy to replace him. It isn't. And I think it's very difficult to win in this league just based on the built-in circumstances. And then trying to recruit to Utah is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And trying to change the face of Utah football and the reputation with high school coaches is not going to be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting 5 months. It is going to be an interesting 5 months. I mean, when we get to spring football, is Kyle Whittingham still the head coach at Utah?
Yeah, and if he's not, is Utah still a respectable program? Is Utah still a program that you're like, yeah, this team could win the Pac-12? Because you can't answer that question until you know.
You know what? Maybe I'm a masochist. I don't know, but yeah, I think they can still win the conference. I do. I think they can still win the conference.
I just mean that if they move on from Witt and you have all that change and everything.
No,
like
you're going to
that.
have a 3-year fall off. It'd be my guess.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Whittingham and his coaching staff, they have a pipeline in place. And this is the who replaces Kyle Whittingham conversation that I don't think is justified or fair, and we probably shouldn't have it. But if you go outside the program, are you going to get compare the Utah job to the SC job?
Yeah.
You're not even in the same conversation
right
as USC. You're probably going to get either Morgan Scalley or a premier assistant from around football. But you're not calling Josh McDaniels. You're not calling James Franklin. You're not calling Urban Meyer. I mean, those guys are not coming home. Like there was some talk on Twitter yesterday about offer Urban the job, he'll come home. Stop. Like, is Urban Meyer leaving the NFL? Like, are you kidding me?
Come on, guy.
For what has been a lower tier Pac-12 team, I don't think he is. Sorry, man. Like, I don't know where Utah goes. I don't know. Let's see. Let's get some of your comments because there's a lot of them here. Utah is just fine. Y'all worry too much, Taylor Kearney says.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see about that.
See. I mean, the truth of the matter is, in all reality, right here today, that they're at a crossroads. They're at a fork in the road, which is, hey, if you go left, you're looking at a 4-win season. Wick gets fired, program burns to the ground, and you start the whole thing over. Or you can go right, and you're making a bunch of changes on your offensive line. The offensive line play picks up. Cam Rising is by the way, it should be said, Cam Rising is a teammate favorite on that team. Like Covey loves him. Keithy loves him. Like, there are a lot of guys.
Yeah,
on
I don't
that
think
team,
there's any doubt. Yeah,
that really respect him. And so I think from a camaraderie standpoint, and a culture standpoint, having Cam back there is definitely going to be an upgrade mentally. And so, if you go right as opposed to going left, you have an opportunity to still go out and win the South. There's no question about that. But that starts this week. Like, there is no more room for a crappy quarter, a crappy half, not executing to end a half. Like, you can't keep making these mistakes. This team has to come together. So when you say, hey, you worry too much, no, I don't worry too much. I'm looking at this situation and I'm saying, hey, there's a lot of smoke here, and that flame's about to get lit if they lose to Washington State.
You know what I worry about? What happens if Cam Rising gets hurt? Because with all due respect, Jaquindon Jackson is a freshman.
Yeah.
And if Jaquindon Jackson is taking snaps for Utah, you're screwed. I mean,
I'm screwed.
Yeah, I mean, you're in trouble. But that's the situation that you've been left with now. I mean, if you think about that, and so many Ute fans devalued Charlie Brewer. Wow. I'd rather have Charlie Brewer as a backup than not have Charlie Brewer at all. I mean, I think this is a historically dire situation at the quarterback for Utah. I mean, it makes, again, look at Huntley. It makes you miss any of the guys that you counted on who were pretty mediocre quarterbacks, but what do you do now? And the answer is, I don't know, because the depth chart at Utah is not stocked with quarterbacks. I can tell you that. BYU fan CJ says Baylor traded Brewer in the rivalry win for Grimes. Sorry, guys. Wow. I don't, again, BYU has nothing to do with Charlie Brewer leaving.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Not
a thing. That game was lost on the line, not by the quarterback. Cody Strickland says, will there be more to talk about other than BYU for over an hour? LOL, Utah State is undefeated. Like to see some love for them too.
Well, the fact is they're not relevant. I mean, sure, we can talk about them. I can do 2 hours on any topic you want to talk about. That doesn't mean we should be talking about them, though. That's cool that they're undefeated. How about you get into a conference that you can actually make noise in?
Well, but I mean, think about you. BYU has the largest fan base in the state.
Easily.
Utah has the second largest fan base in the state. Why would I talk about Utah State before I talk about Utah or BYU? Like, why would I do that? Graham Orme says Brewer quitting is probably the best thing that could have happened to Utah right now. Hope they can finally make our win look good for the Cougs. Well,
yeah,
there is that. Spencer Morgan says, hey, Daryl says Jake Heaps anybody? Oh my goodness, why bring up that name?
Yeah, so like you have, and that's the thing with Utah. You have all these names, all these guys, all these dudes who came through the program, with the exception of Alex Smith. You have all these guys who came through the program and have just been average. And if you're a Utah hater, this is what you hang your hat on. Witt does not recruit offensive talent. He doesn't.
Didn't Jake Heaps wind up at like Kansas or something?
Sure.
Yes, Kansas, Miami. That's what I was thinking of. BYU, Kansas, Miami, the Jets, and the Seahawks.
By the way, I think it was came out. Utah is playing Florida to open the 2022 season. I think it was, or 2023 season.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that come out, but I just thought that was pretty sweet.
Neat. Thanks for throwing that in there, kid.
I think it matters.
It does. It does. I mean, listen, I think it is one of those things where the proof will be in the pudding. Do you still believe? Here's a question for you. Do you still believe in Kyle Whittingham?
Yeah, I
Because
believe in what Kyle Whittingham does. I don't believe that Kyle Whittingham is all of a sudden overnight going to turn into some powerhouse offensive player recruiter. That's not who he is. He's never been that guy. I believe that he can take an average ass high school cornerback and turn him into an NFL cornerback. That's what I believe. I believe that he
an
can take
average ass.
Yeah, I think he can take mediocre high school defensive talent and develop it over the course of 4 seasons and turn it into NFL caliber play. That's what I believe. Mainly because that's what he's done. Hey, you want to be a DB in the NFL? Go to Utah. You want to be a wide receiver in the NFL? Don't go to Utah. You want to be a big time quarterback in the NFL? Don't go to Utah. Don't. And that's kind of what needs to change. That mentality when Witt leaves, because it's not if, it's when that happens.
Yeah.
When that day comes, the next person that follows Witt, it's going to be crucial for the health of Utah football that person is able to recruit offensive talent at a higher level. Because no matter what the name on that jersey is, no matter what school you coach at, it's about the mentality you bring to the program. You could be at Stony Brook, but if your mentality is we're going up and down this field and that's what we're going to do, you're going to get guys. You're going to get guys.
Yep. Greg Hawkins says, what do you guys think about the players-only meeting Utah had? Reportedly, Brewer didn't say anything during that meeting. I think players-only meetings are largely irrelevant if you're not a good football team. And, I mean, you like leadership. That's why you have guys on leadership council, but that's why Cam Rising's the captain. So we'll see. I don't know. Ask me Monday morning when we're doing the show. How did they do Saturday? That'll be the big question. Not that we'll be able to watch because it's on Pac-12 Network.
So frustrating.
Brylark says either he's incredibly immature for quitting 3 games in, or there's something more serious going on for him to make a call like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that we'll ever know.
Perfectly fair.
Neville93 says, good morning, crazy guys. Utah Jazz Camp is going to start in Las Vegas. What do you think about the team working out over there? Hello? Yeah, let's switch gears. We can talk some Utah Jazz for sure. I thought it was really interesting that they chose to have their training camp at the Wynn in Las Vegas at all. I think it's a huge risk. We have no idea what their vaccination percentage is. Now, they've floated the fact that the Wynn is offering them a bubble-like setup where they will have multiple basketball courts, conference rooms, meeting areas, essentially an insulated infrastructure so that they can bond as a team. Now, I understand you can't do that probably at home. I understand that. Las Vegas, of all places, that to me is a little scary. And the reason I say that is because when you have young millionaires that are running around and you have the allure of Las Vegas, I think it's very difficult to expect that these guys are going to stay in their room. And if they go out, that they're going to be responsible.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge risk. I don't know what the parameters are. Maybe there is a ban on any Utah Jazz player going out and socially interacting in a casino or at a strip club but all those things are right outside your front door. And for me, I'm a little nervous that they chose to do this in Las Vegas. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a mistake, but for sure it's a risk. And this is a team, by the way, that has a lot of fresh faces. I think that's why you're trying to build chemistry. You're trying to team build and build cohesive relationships that help you win basketball games.
Yeah.
I think that's why you ended up at the Wynn in Las Vegas. I don't know. Where do you come down on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's a nice PR package to say, yeah, we're going to Vegas to have a team bonding exercise. But the fact is that you could have done the same team building in Salt Lake City, in my opinion. And I think that, to me, it is risky. There's no way around that. There's going to have to be, structure in place. There's going to have to be schedules. Like you got to protect the young guys from themselves. I think that's your best point. You got to protect the young millionaire who, just got drafted or is a couple years into the
Yes.
league, who, is like, oh man, I'm 23 and I'm in Vegas and I'm here to hoop, but I want to go and, I want to go to Mastros, or I want to go to the casino, or I want to go, like, you got to be careful with that stuff, because the last thing you need in training camp is a COVID outbreak. And to your point, not knowing vaccination rates, we have no idea. I mean, is most of the team vaccinated? Is like only half the team vaccinated? Who the hell knows?
Yeah, you don't know.
So it is a very risky thing. However, if you do it in the bubble setup, then most of that risk goes away. So it really just is a matter of execution. But I'm not the guy who's buying this whole narrative that you got to be in Las Vegas or you got to be somewhere other than Salt Lake City to team build. The fact is this team is mostly the same as last year.
I think really, I think that's completely
the
wrong.
core of this team is mostly intact.
I disagree totally.
Okay, what do you disagree about with that?
The team dynamic is going to be completely different. I think the expectations are completely different. I think you bring in guys like Rudy Gay, who is unquestionably a vet and a leader, and his personality and his presence is going to impact the chemistry of this team. I think you bring in somebody that's very quiet like Hassan Whiteside. I don't think the chemistry on this team is going to be similar to what it was last year at all. And if it is, you're in trouble. I think you are subtracting guys like a Derek Favors, who was well respected in that locker room. And you're asking Donovan Mitchell now to be the unquestioned leader of this basketball team. Nobody's ever asked him to do that. You have championship aspirations now that are squarely placed on Mike Conley's shoulders. You paid him a massive contract. You paid the luxury tax to keep Mike Conley. The dynamic among the Utah Jazz is going to be completely different this year than it was last year. And I think that's a very good thing. But the reason that I like what they're doing is because I think that's got to start new, and it's got to start now. Because from the first bounce of a basketball, you would hope that guys are going to show up and be in shape. Who is Rudy Gobert going to be? He got badly exposed in the Clippers series, struggled in the biggest games of the Olympic tournament, was not in the game in important moments. And now we're seeing pictures and videos of him shooting jump shots, and that's all well and good. Who is Rudy Gobert going to be when the season starts? Is Rudy Gobert going to be a jump shooter when the season starts? Something tells me he's not, because this is not the first time we've seen Rudy Gobert taking jump shots in the offseason.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the chemistry and the hows and the whys, the Utah Jazz ended up in Las Vegas, I totally get that. I just worry about COVID and its impact on this team when you are staying at the Wynn, which is surrounded by all kinds of bad things when you're trying to focus and build chemistry on a basketball team.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I just think that I think my point about this team being largely the same is that your starting five and the guys that the horses you're going to run with this year are largely the same. You still got Don, Rudy, Bogey, and Jingles. Those are your guys, and yeah, I mean, yes, you've brought in some talent, no doubt about it, and you are definitely better off of your bench, but this team, I'm sure, is going to come into this year with the messaging of it's championship or bust. But I think the real question is, do they get to the Western Conference Finals? Do you get to that next level? Because I don't feel like you were all that close against the Clippers. I don't feel like you were that close.
Yeah, I don't see this as a Western Conference Finals team the way it's constructed now. But I also think we know that I think you're going to be far more aggressive in player movement than you've been historically. And my guess is that you're going to see additions to this roster based on how things shake out and the way the team plays in the first 3 months of the season. I think you look at a guy, and I will say again, I think Joe Ingles is a trade chip. I think he's a guy who doesn't offer you much value on the floor. Chemistry-wise, glue guy, absolutely. Joe Ingles, his relationships and his chemistry amongst his teammate is unquestioned, and it's really important. The issue is he does not bring much production to the floor. He has lost a lot of his athletic ability. He is a one-trick stand in the corner and shoot a three guy. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He's no longer an elite defender. He's no longer living rent-free in Paul George's head. I simply think that you're going to have guys that are going to be pushed. Whose minutes is Trent Forrest going to take? Because Trent Forrest had a really nice summer. Now, you would hope that he would develop into something more than he was last year. You would hope that he would shoot the three because, again, I would simply point out that Trent Forrest did not shoot a whole lot of threes in Summer League. And he was a guy that, made a lot of quality plays with the ball in his hand, going to the basket, getting in the paint, like throwing lobs to Doak. Like, That's where Trent Forrest made his money in the Summer League. Is Trent Forrest able to knock down threes in the corner? In the 12 minutes maximum that he's going to play this year, is he going to be able to knock down threes in the corner? I think that's a huge question. Obviously, another question is, what's going to happen when Mike Conley gets hurt? Because it's not a matter of if, it's when. Water's wet, and Mike Conley's going to miss games with injuries.
Yes. These
are the questions. So when we talk about the Jazz, who's the most important player when it comes to winning a championship? Well, what I say about that is, if Donovan Mitchell isn't the centerpiece of this offense, you're not winning a championship to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So Donovan Mitchell is an afterthought. He's not a guy that is the most important player to winning a championship, because if he ain't there, the Jazz aren't there. I think it's Rudy Gay, because I think Rudy Gay's the guy that mitigates Terrence Mann versus, Rudy Gobert. I think that's why Rudy Gay's important. His leadership, his experience, his presence, his calm, his demure, all of that is going to determine, in my opinion, whether or not the Jazz make a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. I think that's absolutely the case. My opinion is I still think it's on Rudy Gobert. I think that Gobert is the centerpiece of everything that they do. And I think when the Jazz are at their best, they're getting a lot of pick and roll action with Rudy, and they're passing off of that. So if Rudy comes into this season with a mentality of, hey, I am going to be a force in the middle, but in pick and roll options, I'm going to have the mindset of, if I'm getting doubled, I'm going to pass to the corner. I think if he can bring that, and yeah, at some point, as we've talked about ad nauseum on the show, I know we have a lot of new listeners, but when the Jazz were in season, we had epic meltdowns on the show in the comment section about Rudy and him shooting and not shooting, and him being a liability, which he absolutely is. So if he brings even a little bit of a jump shot, that will take them much farther than I think anybody could measure.
Yeah, and I think Rudy Gobert's a pivotal piece. I mean, obviously, he's got to come with more offense than a dunk. And obviously his defense is unquestioned. His impact on the game defensively is unquestioned. The thing that I really wonder about, and the thing that I'm curious about, is what is his offensive ceiling? If we're talking about Rudy Gobert and adding to Rudy's repertoire, what does that look like? And the answer is, I don't know what that looks like. Is he somebody that you can believe develops a fadeaway jumper? Is he somebody that you probably not? I mean, the guy's 26 feet tall. You're not going to ask him to develop a fadeaway jumper. I think you are going to ask him for the ability to power bounce a basketball and go up and dunk it. To be able to roll to the basket off the dribble would be a really nice addition to Rudy Gobert's offensive game, because it will allow him to pass better and be a more effective distributor.
Yeah.
And it will also allow him to open up more opportunities for him to get to the glass. I think that's what you have to ask for out of Rudy. To believe that he's going to show up in Vegas with a jumper is crazy.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I think to believe that Quinn Snyder would ask Rudy Gobert to make jump shots in the regular season, there would be no reason for that. Because if he's doing that, who's not shooting?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the most difficult question is, what's Rudy bringing to the yard that he hasn't traditionally had?
Yeah, and I think it's not a situation where Rudy even has to have a consistent elbow jumper or anything. All the Jazz need him to do is, when the set dictates it, like when the play is broken and Rudy has the ball in an awkward situation, just to be able to rise up. You're tall, literally, you're taller than everybody out there.
Yeah.
You're never going to get your shot blocked. All you got to do is even just a push shot from 6 feet away from the rim. When it's too far away to dunk it, but it's a really close, like, traditional jump shot, just that little push shot, almost like a floater.
Or even, can you imagine him with like a Jabbar skyhook? Can you imagine him with
Something.
with something where that arm is elevated and he's able to finish with a little touch? That, to
Yes.
me, that's a game changer for Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz. Because again, I think, Doak is not a guy that you're going to ask to come in and produce. Like, in my mind, he is very limited. Udoka Azubuike is very limited offensively. He relies on power and explosiveness. And in this league, when you're limited skill-wise, that's going to hurt you. I don't know if he's somebody that, Doak is a guy who's got athletic ability. There's no doubt about that. But is he a guy that you can say, here's 20 minutes, go impact the game? I don't know how you do that. I don't know what that looks like. So it'll be interesting to see how all of these pieces fit together. How does Trent Forrest wind up impacting this roster? I don't know the answer to that question either.
Yeah.
Because, by the way, you have a guy in Butler that is, to me, a really important figure now.
You want to talk about a guy who can shoot it.
Yeah,
He
well,
can shoot it.
and he's a guy that you're going to need to backfill Mike Conley.
Yeah.
You didn't go and get a veteran point guard, a Rondo or somebody like that.
Yeah.
That you don't, that's just going to step in. Like, you don't have that. So when I look at their roster and I look at, who their guards really are, I mean, Jordan Clarkson's not an on-ball guard. Trent Forrest is probably that guy as well. If Mike Conley gets hurt, I have to think that Jared Butler and Trent Forrest it become exponentially more important.
Yeah, they'll compete for who gets that first off the bench spot. No
Yeah,
doubt.
and by the way, I don't know that the expectation should be that this team's going to repeat at the top of the Western Conference. It very rarely happens.
Yeah.
I'm curious where they are in March, April, and May. Like, what does this roster look like? Again, I would just ask, is Joe Ingles still on this team? Is Royce O'Neal still on this team?
Yeah, I don't know. Those are super pertinent questions, and I think that certainly they're a top 5 Western Conference team. I just think that asking them to go out and beat teams like the Lakers and the Clippers, I think they're right there with the Suns. I think that it's a fair expectation that they would compete to the death with the Suns. So, I just think that the X factor in the Western Conference is the Nuggets. Like, I think if the Nuggets can stay healthy and Jamal Murray comes back from the ACL healthy and 95% of who he was, maybe even better, they're going to be trouble.
Well, and the thing that scares you about the Nuggets is Michael Porter Jr. has been working on his three-point shot. And he was already wet. When he's making threes, I mean, he hits nothing but net.
Yeah.
And you can see that he's developed physically a little bit. Like, how healthy is Aaron Gordon's knee? They just gave him a huge contract. Like, I think all of these things are questions. How healthy are the Lakers?
Yeah.
How many games does LeBron and AD play?
Well, and the Lakers are going to be in Vegas too. LeBron, LeBron's doing that whole thing. So
that little mini camp.
Yeah. So we'll see.
By the way, what about Eric Paschall? Like, what is his contribution to this team? Like, there's so many new moving parts. That's why, with all due respect to you, when you say this core is the same, I think the core is completely different. Because I think you're looking at Royce O'Neal and Joe Ingles being minimized. And I think you're looking at guys like Paschall, Rudy Gay, Hassan Whiteside, I think, is a role player. I think you're looking at Paschall and Rudy Gay as key contributors to this team.
Hassan Whiteside's going to push Rudy. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion.
The guy you need to push Rudy is Udoka Azubuike, and I just don't think he's ready.
No, he's not ready yet.
But, again, I would just say there's a reason that Hassan Whiteside's bounced around so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he tends to be inconsistent offensively. Now, there are games he'll give you 30 and 20, and you're going to be like, God damn, we got to play him more minutes. We'll see. I think I would love to see somebody push Rudy.
Yeah.
Because I think if you get more mobile and you get more flexibility at the 5, I think that gives you a lot more opportunity. I would like to see now. I mean, he probably doesn't have the size to do it, but at 6'6", 255, I'd love to see Paschall play some 4-5 combo.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them. And I think this is one of the things that the Jazz have now. They have the ability to play a little bit of a smaller lineup because they have that versatility. Rudy Gay is going to play some 5. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to me. Like a Pascal Rudy Gay 4-5. What is Butler bring to the floor right away? Is Jared Butler a guy that you can hand the ball to 20 minutes a night and say, hey, let's load manage Mike Conley because we have this rookie who's ready to step in and really contribute? Jordan Clarkson. Because let's be honest about it. One of the major contributors from last year is going to be minimized this year. And I mean, the candidates are Rudy Gobert. Jordan Clarkson's role is changing. I don't know that Joe Ingles was a major contributor. Where's Bojan Bogdanovic fit into all this? Is he the guy that gets traded in October or in February?
They just can't have a guy in the starting five who doesn't see the ball. That's the thing. You can't have a starting five where you have this dynamic where you have a guy in Bogey who gave you 50 against the Nuggets and was Jesus Christ of this team for a month, and then the rest of the year was standing in the corner and got like 5 touches a game. You can't have that dynamic, and that's why I say, like, I agree with you that the team is different than last year's team. Yes, but at the same time, when I say the core of this team is the same, I'm talking about that you're still running out on the floor every single night. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Bojan Bogdanovic. Those 3 guys are going to be on the floor every single night. So really, the only question is, what are you doing with those other 2 slots, and how does Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell prioritize getting Bojan Bogdanovic the ball on the wing or in the corner for open looks? That's what's going to determine the success of this team.
And I will say what I'm so fond of saying. Donovan Mitchell's not going to win you a championship. I'm telling you,
the best players never do.
They get you there, but you're going to have to find a Royce O'Neal, Jordan Clarkson. You're going to have to find role players. And my guess is that Bojan Bogdanovic becomes that guy. Bojan Bogdanovic, I think if you look up and down this roster, he's still your second best offensive option. I mean, if you think about it, because I don't know that you're ever going to count on Mike Conley to be Don's running mate.
Yeah.
I still don't think you have Don's running mate. But I think when you look at where this team breaks camp at and starts this season, I absolutely think Bojan Bogdanovic is going to be your number 2 option. And it's going to be somebody like a Jingles. It's going to be somebody, if Joe Ingles is still here in the playoffs, he's going to have to hit a big shot to win a game.
Yeah.
Rudy Gay is going to have to hit a big shot to win a game. That's going to be the thing, and it's why you want development out of all these guys. It's why you need Elijah Hughes or Trent Forrest to explode and become a young guy making a little bit of money but giving you a very big contribution.
Yeah,
that's how you build a championship team. Historically, that's not been how the Jazz do business, but obviously, this is not that team. So, I think. The other thing, and I'm not trying to pick a scab here, but has this team gotten tougher? Has this team gotten, has this team gotten...
They don't have more grit than they had last year, in my opinion. I think this team is that's why I say, like, I know there's been a lot of change on the roster, but identity-wise, has this team really changed? Have they gone from a team that can be had mentally and cannot absorb injuries? Have they changed from that at all? Yes, Rudy Gobert, great addition. Rudy Gay, great addition. I really like that guy coming off your bench. Absolutely. Any of these other guys that they've brought in, Hassan or anybody else, like these guys, they're nice names. They're established guys in the NBA who contribute. But I think it remains to be seen just how far their contributions will take the Jazz, because I still maintain that starting 5, there's issues there. And I'm telling you, we will see this play out time and time again in the season where, there's going to be stretches where Bogey just doesn't see the ball, which is unacceptable on this team because of how well he shoots.
Well, and the other thing before we move on here, but the other thing is, does Don trust his teammates more?
That's a question.
Because hero ball cannot be a thing for Donovan Mitchell. He needs to distribute. He needs to move the ball. And it'll be interesting to see how much hero ball Don plays. Jordan McDonald says Rudy needs to work on a hook shot, not a three-pointer. He drives me nuts. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Greg Hawkins says the Jazz are a professional team with grown-ass men playing for six-digit incomes. Vegas offers these guys more than Salt Lake during training camp. We want them to enjoy playing for us. I would agree with that. And it's a couple of days. I'm not saying it's months, but that's all it takes is
I wouldn't have
one
a
guy
problem
going
with
to the
this.
strip club.
Wouldn't have a problem with this if COVID didn't exist. But it does. So I do.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
James Knight says, do you guys see any modifications to Don's game more mid-range? I think he needs more mid-range and less basket play. I don't love him constantly attacking the basket. I really don't. Soraya Arnson says, what could I do? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Brylark says Rudy's biggest goal should be to add something to his game that other teams have to worry about other than a lob. Jazz will be a 3 seed at best behind the Lakers and Suns / Denver. All three of those teams I think are slightly better. I would agree with that, slightly. We need to upgrade at Royce's position. We need more out of him. Royce O'Neal's a nice player. He's not a championship caliber player.
Yep.
It's what I always question about Rudy Gobert. Can Rudy Gobert be one of your 3 best players and win a championship? I don't know about that. I don't. Don, yes. Conley, yes. Rudy Gobert, I don't know about that. Yeah. James Knight says Jazz need a PJ Tucker type on the roster.
Yeah, the toughness.
That's a huge question.
They miss Jay Crowder. There's just no question about that. They miss him. There's no doubt about that, and they don't really have that guy on the roster. And I it's funny you brought that up because I think that Clippers series, a lot of what happened in that Clippers series was toughness related. There was a lot of chippiness. There was a lot of Paul George
Patrick
getting
Beverly,
into your body, Pat Bev. Yeah, so that definitely is a factor.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. All right.
Ooh,
real quick, Ben Simmons before we rip Donald Trump. Talk politics. Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Woj bomb. Ben Simmons has been traded to the Jazz for Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. React. Ben Simmons has, according to Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN, has let it be known that Ben Simmons has told the 76ers he will not report for training camp and he will never play another game for the Philadelphia 76ers. Jake, where's Ben Simmons going?
Yeah, I don't know I don't know where he's going to go, mainly because Daryl Morey is asking way too much for Ben Simmons. You're talking about asking for 4 picks and a player for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is not that good. I got news for you. He is not that good. Yes, defensive juggernaut. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely can play and run point 4 team. 100%. Can distribute, can do everything, from that standpoint. But the lack of shot, the lack of willingness to learn a shot, the lack of drive to get to the basket consistently, like those things are really killing him right now. And so where's he going to land? I don't know. Who's willing to give up 4 picks and a player for a guy who can't shoot a basketball? That's what. So there's been a lot of rumors about a John Wall trade from Houston. There's been a lot of noise about Ben going to Minnesota to play with Cat. There's been some noise about the Cavs doing something.
I think it's Golden State or it's bust. I think it's Golden. Yeah, because they're the only ones that are going to give you what you need. If you could trade Ben Simmons, to the Golden State Warriors right now, that's what's going to get you the most value.
I just don't know why, if you're the 76ers, you don't just get this done. Just move on from
because
it, dude.
Bad basketball teams are bad at basketballing. And you look at Daryl Morey and the Houston Rockets, that he did not build a winner in Houston. And I think when you look at what he's doing in Philly, playing around with a Ben Simmons trade is a mistake.
Yeah.
And obviously Doc Rivers plays a huge part in this as well, but I don't think there's any question that they believe that Ben Simmons will report to camp and that they'll be able to work it out. Well, guess what? I don't think you're going to be able to work it out. If you were smart, by the way, Ben Simmons has quit on your team. By the way, Ben Simmons refused to shoot the ball last year in the playoffs. By the way, we just had a yard sale And I think Ben Simmons was on somebody's curb with a sign around his neck says, free, please take.
Pack everything up. We're out of here.
Trade the guy. Trade him. Move on. It is going to be a constant question in training camp. And I'd remind you, the Brooklyn Nets are a hell of a lot better this year than they were last year. And I would look at just about every team, when you look at the fact that you have guys up and down the Eastern Conference who have made significant moves to improve their roster, it's not the gimme conference it used to be.
Yeah.
And I'd remind you, the championship resides in Milwaukee. And I just think that Philadelphia should be better than they are. They're the Portland Trail Blazers of the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
You expect more and you never get it.
Yep.
And it's because the process was fine until it was not fine. Why hold on to this guy? Why? This is the same thing in every sport. A guy wants to be traded. Why is he still on your roster? Go find a player who wants to be a 76er. It's not difficult.
Talk to people who want to talk to you.
Yeah,
As the saying goes in sales.
Yeah, I mean, I look at, if you can make a John Wall trade, go and do that. Fine, go do that. The Houston Rockets have made it be known, hey, we want to trade John Wall. He's not going to be on our roster. He's not going to be in games. Come get him. Like, they've put a open for business sign out on John Wall. If you feel like John Wall's a guy that fits, go get him. Right? I'm telling you now, if you trade Ben Simmons, trade him to the Western Conference, don't trade him to the Lakers, and go about your business.
Yeah.
Like, call the Portland Trail Blazers and ask if CJ McCollum's available. What is it going to take? I'm going to give you Ben Simmons. You're going to give me CJ McCollum. What else do I have to include in that deal?
Yeah.
Ben Simmons is not getting you a first-round pick. He's not. The guy has absolutely tanked his trade value for a very good reason. He hates you.
Yeah.
Trade him. Trade him. Anyway, I feel better now. I feel better.
All right. Okay.
Leonard Avalos says the process was fine until Ben Simmons couldn't develop his game. Brandon Whiteside says, say the name. The rights to Ricky Sanchez forever. You heard said the Utes are crumbling. I love it. James Knight says Ben Simmons will be a rocket. Spencer Morgan says Bogey needs to be a consistent second offensive weapon, and DM needs to utilize him instead of hero ball.
I agree. 100%.
Neville 93, is the Jazz bench better than it was last year?
Yes. Yes.
Significantly. We were telling you a year ago, and you guys were all pissed that we were saying it. We're telling you a year ago this team doesn't have any depth. Team does not have depth.
Well, the Jazz are the deepest team in the league.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it turns out that wasn't true. They had no depth. Now you have guys that have been there and done that in Rudy Gay. You have a guy in, Butler. You have a guy in Clarkson. Now you have pieces. Pascal, who I would guess would get some starting looks when they're down a guy or two. You have guys that can handicap Bogey going 0 of 69 from 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jordan McDonald says Marcus Smart would be a nice pickup for the Jazz. PJ Tucker's the right guy.
Yeah.
No, it's never going to happen.
No.
PJ Tucker's the right guy, and he's got an amazing shoe collection, just like me. Brylark says the Jazz really had an unbelievable offseason. Let's see what fruit it bears. They did.
Agreed.
I think they had one of the best offseasons in the NBA, frankly.
Yep.
Burgers or Donald Trump? All right, good. Let's talk Donald Trump.
Do you want to set up the meeting?
So we've taken a beating on the show over Donald Trump.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Donnie talking about sticking lights up his ass and drinking
You are
bleach. We've taken a beating over those topics.
Right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We've had, our guy Driftwood stop the steal.
View this the same as the flu.
That was stolen. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Stolen?
Yeah.
The election.
Right. Uh-huh.
So Donnie runs for president a second time.
Right.
And America said, fuck no.
It was the virus that killed him.
Yeah.
Because again,
Yeah.
somebody else told me.
Do you mind cursing so much?
That I curse
you
too much.
degenerate?
Anyway, F no. Heck no. Shucks.
Well
we're not. Okay, let me start over. Donnie said, I want to be president for a second term. And Americans said, shucks, Donnie. Sorry, bud. I got to vote for somebody else.
This case is empty.
Go comb your coif in Florida.
Empty. The opposite of full.
So Donnie ran for president and got that ass whooped. Bunch more folks voted for old man Biden than they did for the quaff of Donald Trump.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, he may still be banging his daughter. Okay, I'll stop. Anyway, the point is,
hillbillies.
Donnie tried to figure out a way to steal the election himself.
Right.
So when we were talking about stop the steal, weren't we actually talking about Donald Trump? Well, now we know that we were. Because a memo that came out as part of discovery in a court case, itch on the shoulder, a memo that came out detailed how the Trump campaign, from communications to strategists, quickly realized that Dominion voting systems and Smartmatic had nothing to do with the reason they lost. So internal communications inside the Trump campaign revealed that staffers were concerned with the outlandish claims that the the dream team of legal experts that Donald Trump had assembled, yeah, not so much, were purposefully putting out false information. And they put a certain individual at Dominion Voting Systems by name into the ethos that this is the guy at Dominion who worked with, George Soros. The Clintons molest children.
Yeah.
And George Soros, along with the Venezuelans.
The Venezuelans.
The Venezuelan government, right?
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah.
They were saying that, hey, this guy at Dominion, along with Smartmatic, along with George Soros, along with the Venezuelan government.
Oh, and the Italians. You remember the Italians?
Where's
too.
the Italian?
Yeah, you remember the Italians got in on this as well.
The Italians, hell, everybody.
Where's the Italian?
Yeah, the state of Arizona and their fake machines. Anyway, so the Trump campaign was putting all this out there. The problem is they knew that the claims against Dominion voting machines were completely false.
I think that's HIPAA.
They were well aware that this individual that they named by name, that QAnon and all of the crazy right-wing conservatives who said, we got to stop the steal. They went after this guy's life. They ruined him. He lost his job at Dominion and Smartmatic. And now we know that the Trump campaign knew this was all a bunch of malarkey.
Yeah.
It was complete lies, and they knew it.
Yeah.
According to this memo. By the time their now infamous November 19th press conference occurred, Mr. Trump's campaign had already prepared an internal memo on many of the outlandish claims about the company Dominion Voting Systems and the separate software company Smartmatic.
Dude.
The memo had determined all of those allegations were untrue, and that former Dominion employee Eric Coomer was not involved in stealing the election. By the way, do you know why we know all of this now? Because Eric Coomer is suing the Trump campaign and many people associated with it. And this memo came out in a motion in the defamation lawsuit filed by Eric Coomer against the Trump campaign and its associates. That's why we know about this.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
And when you read the memo,
dude,
it's a little shocking. It is. It's a little shocking. And I think there are some people, and I don't think, I know, there are some people inside that Trump organization, in my opinion, who were fine lying as long as it kept the ball rolling. And in my opinion, it's this very conversation that we're having now, where the Trump campaign, according to the New York Times, according to the internal memo, according to the lawsuit, they knew that Dominion and Smartmatic were not compromised, that the Venezuelans were not working with Mr. Coomer, and that George Soros was not involved, and there was no plot to overthrow Donald Trump, and that, as his attorney said, there was no bloodless coup to get the child molesting Democrats into the White House. And yet we still had January 6th. And it was this rhetoric, it was this kind of information. They knew, according to these reports, that it was false, and they still push forward. It's why many of these attorneys, including Rudy Giuliani, right now don't have the right to practice law in this country anymore. It's why many of the Kraken lawyer is likely going to lose her license.
Yeah.
It's why Rudy Giuliani went from being a national hero to a national embarrassment.
Well, isn't this what everyone's doing in politics now? Isn't this what Tucker Carlson does every single night on his
It
show?
really is.
Like,
it
no
really
matter
is.
if it's right or wrong, or if it's the truth or not the truth, we're still going to run with it.
On November 13th, Zach Parkinson, who was the Trump campaign's deputy director of communications, reached out to subordinates on November 13th, asking them to, quote, substantiate or debunk several matters concerning Dominion voting systems. The next day, the emails show Mr. Parkinson received a copy of a memo written by his staff from what largely appeared to be news articles and public fact-checking services. And even though the memo was hastily assembled, it rebutted the most severe and a series of allegations that Miss Powell, the Kraken attorney, was making in public. Mainly that Dominion did not use voting technology from the software company Smartmatic for the 2020 election. You remember that the Trump campaign said Dominion and Smartmatic worked together and they were on the internet and the Russians and the Chinese and your mom all hacked in, right? Like it was this big thing that they were working together in this software and Dominion, and then it came out that Dominion and Smartmatic didn't work together, and 99% of the country did not work together. They were not associated during the 2020 election. The Dominion had no direct ties to Venezuela or Mr. George Soros. No ties to Venezuela whatsoever. And that there was no evidence that Dominion's leadership had connections to left-wing groups like Antifa, as Miss Powell and Mr. Giuliani had claimed. Mr. Coomer's lawyers wrote in their motion in the defamation suit. You ready for this? The memo produced by the Trump campaign shows that, at least internally, the Trump campaign found no evidence to support the conspiracy theories regarding Dominion systems and Mr. Coomer. So when they lose this defamation case, where's the evidence going to come from that they defamed this guy?
Where are all the people saying the election was stolen and the Dems are trying to overthrow the country? And
I mean, this document is shocking, my friends. And if you don't subscribe to the New York Times, you absolutely should. I do. Reading that memo is shocking.
yeah.
Brylark says Dominion is 1,000% going to win that lawsuit.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even Dominion. It's their former employee who is suing, and Dominion suing all of these other people around them.
Yeah, it's like a double suit basically.
Yeah. Brandon Whiteside says, but the biggest problem is nothing is going to happen even with all this information. Correct.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Leonard Avalos says, how do I win the Xbox? A, watch the Xbox video. B, in the Xbox video, we tell you that you have to take a photo that you're subscribed, tag SLC Supercars and The Monty Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and you'll be entered to win the Xbox.
Got 6 more people entered yesterday. Just saying.
How about all of it?
Just
Like,
saying.
you guys have been amazing.
Just saying.
You guys have been amazing.
What are we at now? How
That's what I'm looking
close are we? How is the mediocre rise?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
What is the meteoric rise?
2178.
Hey, man.
So we have picked up 178 subscribers in 2 days.
I love that show.
I'll take it. Monty, when did you become such a tinfoil guy? Oh, fuck off. No, you didn't. We all have been saying this was false. No, you haven't.
Not.
No, you
Get
haven't.
the hell out of here with that.
And thank
have
you.
not.
Thank you, YouTube, for get out of
Get the
here.
hell out of here with that.
Like, see, and that's what I love. People are like, oh, well, we all knew that Donald was lying. But Joe Biden shit himself yesterday at the UN.
Infowars.com.
Get out of here. Get it? This has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It has nothing to do. He was going on, and YouTube took his comment down because he was talking about Hillary Clinton being a child molester. Okay, where's the proof of that? Where's the proof of that?
There is zero accountability in politics anymore. Zero.
And this is the thing I always say. You better do for yourself because ain't a politician in the world worried about you or me.
Yeah, Cancun cruise. How's that working out for
right?
you? Right?
Like, I mean, honest to goodness, who are you voting for president in 3 years?
Can't answer that question. There's not a Democrat or Republican I'd vote for right now.
There's not. And Donald Trump, I'm telling you, by the way, one of the other conversations I heard yesterday on whatever network it was, I don't even remember at this point, but somebody was talking about Donald Trump wanting to get back into the public spotlight.
Yeah, which is why he's suing more people with probably a baseless suit.
And this will be interesting. He is. He's got new lawsuits out there. And, you know, my feeling is that Donald Trump is starting to feel the pinch. I think he is in trouble financially. Don't forget, he's still got all this criminal stuff. The lawsuits against his company are moving forward and expanding. I mean, this is not going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And James Knight, I can't see your last comment because it was held for review. So I can't see.
By the way, again, I always put
yeah.
this out there for all the new listeners. We don't filter comments. That is not in our control. YouTube does that 100%. So please just know that.
Yeah, I think that you look at the anti-vaxxers in this country. You look at all these people, like there were 2 people that died. Their families came out yesterday and were talking about how they listened to Tucker Carlson and got their vaccine advice from Tucker Carlson. And so they didn't take the vaccines. And because Tucker Carlson has, talked about how they're ineffective. And I don't understand that rhetoric. Do you guys realize when you listen to Tucker Carlson go anti-vax, you understand he's vaccinated, right?
It's an antibody cocktail.
I mean, like how come Tucker Carlson isn't talking about his vaccine status? Where's Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about her vaccine status?
The coronavirus.
This is not rocket science. I don't know why so many people will tell you that vaccines don't work. Vaccines work fine.
I'm not a big fan of Fox.
I mean, you look at now the J&J vaccine talking about, once you get a booster from them, you're 94% effective. Like the Pfizer vaccine. Anyway, we could go on and on about it.
Getting my second shot Friday.
Nice. Giggity says he can be in the spotlight when he's walking from his car to the courthouse doors.
Hey. I mean.
You guys understand, though, that that's going to be a dark day in our history, right? That's a guy, for better or for worse, Donald Trump was the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You understand, to watch a president of the United States walk into a courthouse, if that ever happens, where he is under criminal prosecution, that's not a good day for this country.
No, but I think it's a day that's going to be celebrated. I think it's a day that the country needs, frankly.
This division is, yeah. Jeremy says, I hear Pfizer is close to getting approved for vaccines for kids younger than 12. They are already. Yeah. They are already. It's approved for 5 to, I think it's age 5 to 11 now. Because the biggest spread in this country right now is children.
Yeah.
Because they're all back in school, and God forbid we would ask them to wear masks.
Well, that infringes on our rights, obviously.
All right. Speaking of infringing on my rights, can I just ask you about burgers?
Yeah.
Well, first I want to talk about your sexual infatuation with Caitlin Collins.
Okay. Sure.
I want it.
So we're preparing the show today.
Right.
And I turn over and I look over and there's Jake fully engorged in Instagram.
Just take it nice and easy, okay? Just relax.
I'm like, hey, bro, drink some water. The panting will stop. It's okay.
Uh-huh.
And I give him a Quaalude.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't. That's a lie.
I have dingers.
But he's like, oh, my God, you got Caitlin Collins in a bikini. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
She's fine. What do you want from me?
And I'm trying to figure out what's that noise. And I hear next to Jake. I'm like, what's that noise? Anyway,
You're welcome.
The point is, Jake's like, oh, my God, Caitlin Collins is in a bikini. I'm like, okay, send it to me. I mean, I said, why are you looking at that? We're trying to prepare for a show.
Seems like a great opportunity to slip and splash.
Wow. Anyway, the point is, so Jake's like, no, he went, oh, God.
That's it, boy.
Caitlin Collins is in a bikini. Oh, I'm so hungry. I need a Wendy's double-double. Anyway, the point is, so Jake, you are full on infatuated with Caitlin Collins.
I'm a big Caitlin Collins fan. What can I say? That's my celeb crush, man. And yes, she is a celebrity. There's no doubt about it. It's my girl. You know.
Twice on Sunday.
Yep.
Just so you can go to Pound Town.
Yep.
Okay, so is there anybody else besides Caitlin Collins?
Oh, I'm sure I could find people. I'm sure I could find somebody. But she's like the main one.
See, and this is what worries me. This is what makes me think you're the mailman's kid.
You know.
Because I have a list.
Oh, you have a list.
Milas Kunis? Yes.
He's an assassin.
Although now we know she doesn't shower, and so I'm kind of worried about, the situation. Or I guess I should say the situation room.
You have to check it before you wreck it.
But Milas Kunis, yes. Jennifer Aniston, yes. Really, other than that, that's kind of my list. My wife is way too hot, so she's beautiful and she's smart, and I left $50 on the counter and she never touched it yesterday, which was amazing. I thought for sure that she would buy herself more bonbons. Actually, look at that. She's actually holding it in her hand. Right, that's hysterical. Anyway, Mila Kunis is probably my Caitlin Collins.
We got anybody in the comments dropping names? We got anything?
Jake's new nickname is Animal Style for sure. Jake is getting ready.
Should I change my Twitter handle to Animal Style?
Giggity. So Brylark says Jake's new nickname is Animal Style. Giggity says Jake is getting ready for that Animal Style.
Yeah.
Who's your celebrity crush? Like if you, Luca's mom? Yes.
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 Yep.
Jeremy Bolton says Luca's mom. There's no one else.
There's no doubt.
Who's your celebrity crush? Mine is definitely Mila Kunis.
I'm a guy of simple taste.
She's my favorite. And then I don't really know that I have enough. There's no like news reporter on TV. Like I can't think of a news woman that I'm like, ooh.
Really?
No.
Wow.
I mean, the problem with Caitlin Collins is she has that huge like Joker smile thing she does. And I'm just like, dude, you got to stop doing that. Oh,
Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt. Come on. Emily Blunt
from the
is
Bond
fine,
movies, yeah.
Dude.
But you have a type too.
Hey, I don't care if I have a type.
Right?
They're all fine, bro. Like, look at this.
But you admit that you have a type. Yeah, I like
dude.
Emily Blunt. Yeah, she was
bro.
in that Matt Damon movie where they hopped around through doors and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my.
She was also a Bond girl.
Dude, I can't remember the name of that movie.
She was also a Bond girl, by the way.
The Adjustment Bureau, I think it was called.
The Adjustment Bureau. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the Adjustment Bureau.
Yeah.
I like Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande. Jennifer Lawrence, Fat Jesus says.
What's an erection?
I like Jennifer Lawrence. The problem is, you know who my real celebrity crush is? Britney Spears.
Really?
But she's bat-ass crazy.
But don't we get to separate Britney Spears' life? Like, don't you get to say, okay, Britney Spears here versus shaved head Britney Spears?
When Justin Timberlake was planting seeds in her garden, that is when she was at her peak.
Well,
and then the
Justin
whole
Timberlake.
Yeah, the whole Kevin Federline. If I gotta follow Justin Timberlake, I'm happy to do that, man. Him and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
come on,
Leo.
Come on. But Britney Spears was amazing.
Yeah.
But now, I feel like there's been a freak show in that store.
Yeah.
So I'm out.
Yeah. No.
Mila Kunis. All right, it's Ashton Kutcher.
Mm.
I'm okay with that.
Is Ashton Kutcher a douche?
Oh my God, yes.
Isn't he a douche?
Yes. If you have to ask, hey, is that guy a douche?
Yeah,
the answer's yes.
Yeah.
And he is a bit of a douche.
Yeah.
Mila Kunis, though.
Let's consult the douche meter.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that would be 13 seconds of greatness. Are you
It's sort of a
kidding?
natural reflex.
Man, Elizabeth Hurley. Oh yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Elizabeth
nice,
Hurley.
it's
Yeah.
nice.
God, Jeremy Bolton.
Why did that show have to come to an end, dude?
Jeremy says, "Where's my slurp alert drop?"
Slurp alert drop.
Major bag alert. Is that what we're at?
Seems like a great opportunity to slurp and splash.
You haven't played a major bag alert in a long time on this show.
Well, it's not hoop season, you know.
Okay. There it is. Who's your man crush? Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leo, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Baller, dude.
I'd hit that.
Absolute baller.
Jeremy Bolton, you said Peyton Manning. He can't turn his neck, bro.
Yeah, come on, dude.
And he's a sexual assaulter guy.
You're so fucked.
Brad Pitt,
McConaughey.
the
McConaughey
problem
over
is-
Pitt. Come on.
Brad Pitt's ex-wife. I can't think of her name.
Mrs. Monty says she doesn't like Matthew McConaughey because he's too greasy.
Well, and he doesn't wear deodorant.
Yeah.
He doesn't wear deodorant.
He's living that Southern lifestyle, man. He's on that Southern draw life.
Okay.
Huh?
Bradley Cooper, yes.
Bradley Cooper,
Who was Brad Pitt married to? Angelina Jolie is wearing your blood around her neck. I'm out, dude. And
Damn,
she
talk
weighs,
about commitment.
but she
Jesus.
weighs like 36 pounds.
How is that even possible?
Like I'm serious. I don't believe she's ever had a carbohydrate in her entire life. Somebody feed that woman like a honey bun.
Kitty cat juices is not all over the place.
Giggity says Jake is my man crush with that text breakup.
Hey, man. You know,
Okay.
cold-blooded. Cold-blooded.
Anne
Broke up with
Hathaway.
you over text message?
Yep.
Barfing Chicken says Anne Hathaway or Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman is.
Okay, my wife says she'd hit Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
The Latina woman. Oh my God, what is it? Antonio Banderas. Oh my God, I can't think of her name. She's amazing. She's like 50 and she's hot as
Oh, I know
hell.
who you're talking about. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember her name. Oh my God, it's gonna kill me. Not Jessica Alba, not Selma Hayek. Oh my goodness, what is her name? I can't think of her name. I'm a terrible.
Movie she's been in.
Was she in Zorro? There is Zorro. I can't think of her name. She's incredibly hot. She is incredibly hot. I don't remember her name. Oh, not Selma Hayek. Oh my God, not Sophie. No. Oh my God, this is gonna kill me now. I can't remember her name. Not Catherine Zeta-Jones. Is it Selma Hayek? I think it is
it's
Selma Hayek.
Yeah, I think that's who you're thinking of.
Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yes. God bless you. Selma Hayek is amazing. Twice on Thursday and Sunday.
I want it.
I mean, by the way, is anybody on this show watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
I don't know how you watch that show, dude. I can't. It's a tough show to watch.
My wife actually said to me in the middle of episode 2, I don't know that I'm going to make it through the season. I don't know.
It is too.
Oh, Penelope
pretentious.
Cruz. Yes.
Cruz is
Penelope
fine,
Cruz.
dude.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goldie Hawn. Used to be. Hillary Swank. Yeah. Cody Strickland says, here's some proof for Hillary. Her husband alleged to have roped a woman. She victimized that
Okay,
woman.
yeah, we're passing through. We ain't reading. We're way past
Cody.
that, bro. Come on now.
Brylark says, cannot believe someone hasn't said Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, yeah.
She's overrated.
No, dude. Come on,
She's
man.
overrated.
Whatever, dude.
She's attractive. Greg Hawkins says, what about Betty White? Betty White, yeah.
Well, that's a goat right there.
I mean,
that's the greatest of all time.
You got issues with cobwebs, but you know.
Yeah.
We can work that out. No, Giggity said Kate Hudson. No. That woman is 100% rib cage. Like, no.
Ugh.
I'm not feeling, no. Yeah, no.
No.
And then, Kate Beckinsale, Scarlett Johansson. Who's the other one? Oh, man. She was in The Italian Job.
Oh, my God.
I think I said her name once already.
Oh, I know her name.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
amazing.
my
Charlize
God.
Theron.
Yes.
She's amazing.
She is beautiful. Yeah.
She's amazing.
Beautiful.
When she was on Howard's show, oh man. Like I had to pull over.
He does such a good job.
I had to pull I had to pull over. It was the swelling. I mean, I couldn't drive.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Oh, Margot Robbie's all right. Yeah,
Margot Robbie's
man.
fine, dude.
Margot Robbie in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oof. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Man. All right, burger challenge, because then we got to go. So you're taking this girl. We established on the show yesterday, you cheap son of a biscuit, that you're taking this girl to In-N-Out at her bequest.
Yes. She said, I love a good burger. Let's go to In-N-Out.
I don't know what bequest is.
Yeah, me either.
But but that's my point with this girl. She said, I love a good burger. Let's go to In-N-Out.
Right.
Here's my question. And we've argued over this in the past.
Right.
I don't think there's any question that the best burger is between a Wendy's Dave's Double and a Five Guys cheeseburger. Those two. So we need to settle this. So this weekend, we're going to do a burger challenge.
Yeah.
So what is this burger challenge going to look like?
So the first question we have to answer, and I know that you guys, you and Mrs. Monty, think this is really stupid.
Rachel McAdams.
But I don't think this is stupid. When you're considering your burger options, in my opinion, if you don't have to get out of your car to go to the place, that's different than having to get out of your car and walk into a place. That's different. Number one, Five Guys, way more expensive than everybody else, right?
And why is that?
I don't know.
Because it's an amazing
okay,
burger.
Cool. That's your opinion. I want people to answer the question of don't you factor in, is it not an obvious difference? Wendy's, In-N-Out, Jack in the Box, Burger King, McDonald's, The Habit, like all these places are all drive-through places except for one. And I'm not saying that hurts Five Guys. But what I'm saying is there's a difference. I can go to Wendy's and get a Dave's Double for $15. The whole thing, $15.
Okay.
Five Guys is a $25 trip. Easily.
Right, but because they hold their product to a higher standard.
Okay, so then why are we comparing Wendy's Dave Double to Five Guys to In-N-Out?
Because of the taste. Look, I'm all about In-N-Out when I need a protein burger. If I just want 2 patties, cheese, and lettuce, I'm all about that. I'm good to go. Let's go to In-N-Out. But when I want like a real burger, I'm not going to In-N-Out. The buns are overrated. Their fries suck out loud. I'm telling you right now that I'm willing to pay the $25 to get a cheeseburger and a large fry at Five Guys.
What are the comments saying?
The comments are saying you're dumb.
Thanks. Thanks.
Barfing Chicken says, oh, yeah, Lily James, who played Cinderella. Okay, I know who that is. Dane says, you guys definitely hit 357 burger. Don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Chubby's burger is better. Listen to your dad, Jake. Five Guys is king, Brylark says.
I'm not saying I don't like Five Guys. That's not what I'm saying.
The king.
I'm saying when you compare burgers, they're different.
Giggity says consistency is key. You can go to different Wendy's locations and get one burger that is delicious and the other a bag of garbage.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's a fair point.
Jackson Graham says Five Guys isn't fast food, though. Not a fair compare.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is it not two different things?
Is Five Guys fast food? Please answer that in the comments. Giggity says Five Guys and In-N-Out Burger is consistent. I would agree with that.
Yeah, you get the same thing every time. Product-wise,
I would agree with that.
Incredibly consistent.
Cody says Five Guys is overpriced and not that great. Get your burgers from Chubby's or Verge's. Okay.
I've never been to either of those places.
Well, I mean, if you think about, oh my God, the big Cottonwood Heights. I have folks, I'm old.
Oh, the Big H? Hires?
Hires. Thank you. Jeez. I can't remember my own name most days. Yeah, Hires, the Big H has the best patty melt.
Yeah, but see, they're definitely not a fast food. They're definitely
that's definitely not fast food.
That's a diner experience. Their shakes are amazing. Like
Jackson Graham agrees with you. He says no drive-through, not fast food. Okay. Barfing Chicken says Five Guys is also $10 a burger. 357 is a TNT gun range off I-15 and 54th.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
We'll have to try that.
Yeah.
I haven't been there. The place down by the Bees ballpark, where the peanut butter burger is.
I know what you're talking about. Man, I can't remember the name of that.
Berg Falk brought it up to us. I can't remember.
It's
that
like
either. Their burgers are amazing, but not fast food.
Yeah, I just think that the fast food requires a drive-through, and I feel like I don't have an issue paying Five Guys pricing. But you also understand that that's a longer experience and it's a higher quality experience, which, again, I'm not criticizing them for. I just think it's different than In-N-Out or Wendy's. Like, I don't think, to be quite honest with you, like the Dave's Double at Wendy's is good. It's definitely not better than Jack in the Box, and the burger itself is not better than In-N-Out, in my opinion. But it's kind of, I don't know. It's tough.
Okay.
But anyway, point is, we're doing a burger challenge video. So the question is, what burgers do you want in the burger challenge video?
I think Crown Burger's got to be in there.
Is there a Crown Burger?
It has to. Oh, yes.
There is? Oh, I'm tripping then.
Oh, yeah, JCW's. Okay, so.
JCW's is good, but that's not fast food.
JCW Crippler, a man's burger. I've never been to a JCW's. There's one by your place.
There's one over in Harriman, yeah.
Okay. The peanut butter burger is gross, dude. Tried one in Portland, and I gave it to a homeless guy. Barfing Chicken says.
Jesus.
Five Guys is a 10th date kind of place.
Really?
Okay. In-N-Out is one of these places where it's so neat. And yeah, we'll beach in the dumpster area after we eat burgers.
No.
I think that's HIPAA.
And we can get a T-shirt and
No.
Okay, it's just not. JCW has a drive-through.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Do they?
Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting. Okay, I legit wasn't aware of that.
There's like a Crown Burger, Apollo Burger by the old K-Fan studio.
Oh.
There's an Apollo Burger.
But this is my question in the comments. We're gonna do a video this weekend on Burger Challenge. What we're reviewing burgers. So what burgers do you guys want in there? You want to? It's got to be. We definitely got to have In-N-Out. Definitely got to have Wendy's. Definitely got to have Five Guys. Those three, 100% have to be in there.
Cody Strickland says we need to have a serious decision. Why is it no matter where you go, rather it's going to a drink shack or a fast food? Why is everyone asking you if you want a tip? Well, I think because so many people have been hit hard by the pandemic.
Yeah.
A. B. I think it's an easy way to make extra money.
Yeah.
Like my barber, my guy Jay.
Yep.
When you check out, it has, hey, what are you going to tip us? So, which is interesting. Giggity says nothing wrong with asking for a tip. It does get oppressive. Like everybody wants a tip. Yeah, I get what you mean. Should we tip McDonald's then? No.
No. Hell no.
No. But what you should do is never eat at McDonald's again.
Yeah. Go to Wendy's.
Here's the thing I don't understand. You're going to McDonald's. You're going to Cane's. That's not good food. The thing that's amazing, Subway rebranded their advertising.
Yeah, it's the Eat Fresh Refresh.
And they're selling essentially the same ingredients. They just repackaged it, and now they're booming. And their second quarter sales were off the charts.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. I hope Jake's date asks for a tip.
Me too.
Okay. Fat Jesus says, I hope your video looks like the David Hasselhoff burger video.
I've never seen that, but I'll.
Brylark says, Burger Bar in Roy, boys. So, yeah, I've been to Burger Bar in Roy. I have an old friend who's not a friend anymore because he's a nice guy that lives in Roy. So I've been there. Shake Shack is not fast food. No, Shake Shack is not fast food. Shake Shack is casual dining with a fast food product. They have a building.
So what's the difference between Five Guys and Shake Shack?
Because Five Guys, yeah, their food is both fast food. The difference is that Five Guys has grease on the floor and they're flipping burgers. It just takes longer because you don't have a drive-through. If Five Guys had a drive-through, it would be fast food, but they don't because it takes a little longer to make the quality of their food. At Shake Shack, they just want you to sit down so you'll spend more money.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Now, their chicken sandwiches from motherfucking undefeated.
Bomb, dude. Bomb. Better than Chick-fil-A.
Is Smash Burger considered a fast food place? Like, they are also kind of Five Guys. I hate Smash Burger.
Yeah, not a Smash Burger guy or a Habit.
Yeah. What's up with your hot tub, Monty? Why do you have to bring this stuff up? I was having a good day.
All right. Speaking of expensive.
And then we have to go because it's 8:15 already.
Yeah.
We're trying to find somebody to build a deck around it, and everybody wants like $7,000 to $8,000. And I just cut my arm off and build me a deck.
Yep.
It's frustrating.
You thought it was going to be 3?
No, I thought it was going to be 5.
5.
But I'm trying not to curse. See, I'm making the effort here. The fucking electrician wants $2,500 on his own.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Sorry, I'll do better next time.
Be better.
It's so frustrating how expensive.
I try to stay calm and not curse.
It's so expensive to have a contractor or an electrician or a plumber or your mom come out to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy comes out and he's like, "Oh yeah, it'll be $2,000." Okay, I call another electrician. Yeah, I can do it for $1,500. But we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And by the way, it's gonna be $2,100. And he calls me while I'm working out at the gym. He's like, "Are you gonna send me that $2,100?" I'm like, "No, dude, no." And I said to him, "I'm gonna have to get other bids because you're the highest price guy." He's like, "Okay, great, good luck." I'm like, "All right, see ya." By the way, here's the other thing that just frustrates me.
Yeah.
So my garbage disposal wasn't working well the other day.
Oh yeah. What happened with that?
We have a sketch home warranty company. I'm not going to say what Ibex Home Warranty's name is.
What makes them sketch?
Well, my wife makes a good point. I directly said to this guy, hey, I work on the phone all day. You need to text me before you show up. Because when he rings my doorbell, I have 2 10-pound pit bulls that are going to go up there and try to rip the damn thing off the hinges, right?
Do.
Yeah, they like freak out. Does he text me?
Nope.
No. He shows up wearing an Ibex Home Warranty shirt. And it's like, okay, well, who do you work for, yourself or Ibex Home Warranty? So it kind of feels like, So he looks at the thing, charges me $60, and he did what the mother vet did and was like, hey, there's nothing wrong, dude. All right, thanks. See you later. Thanks for the $60 tip. Like, he charged me a trip charge for him to come out to tell me there's nothing wrong. And I guess he adjusted some of our pipes or something. A-hole. Anyway, they didn't do a bad job. But
Yes,
so
good service is dead. Yes,
the electrical guy, I said the same thing to the electrician.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I'm on the phone all day. I need you to text me.
Concept you and your sticky fingers probably find hard to grasp.
Oh, yeah, no problem. We'll text you. No.
Nope. Just rolls up. Same thing as a paver guy.
Sold the rims on the wheels for the Tacoma. I said
Yeah.
rims. The wheels on the Tacoma yesterday.
Yeah.
The guy texted me. He was on time, paid me in cash, and left. It was amazing.
Easy peasy. Less than 5-minute experience.
Why is that so difficult?
I don't know.
I don't get it. Service is dead.
It is.
So far, it's Wendy's, Five Guys, In-N-Out, and Crown Burger.
Those are the 4 that people want.
Okay, so here's the burger challenge. Brylark says, HVAC, plumber, all those handyman-style services always do the pay me to show up fees thing.
Yeah.
It's a trip charge. I get it. There's a lot of people who want them to come out and do estimates and then won't use them.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
Yep.
The best experience I've had, I think, and my wife will probably not back me up on this, but Ace Handyman Home Service, the girl who came out, the handy person who came out was amazing.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Didn't
Knocked it out.
Called me before she arrived, showed up, was here 3 hours, did everything perfectly, have not had a single issue with anything she did. Amazing. Try Apollo Burger, Teddy Wayman says. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Teddy, your boy needs to get back off his hunting trip. I need my deck built, not for $10,000.
Yeah, seriously.
James Knight says, does Jake smoke weed? No. Does Jake's weed smoking wife with no bra do electrical work? That's a good point.
I don't understand.
Women don't wear bras nowadays, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And
Why is that an issue?
I don't. It's not for me. Was the handy girl cute?
She was handy.
I don't remember what she looks like. I can't say if she was cute or I don't look at women like that.
What?
Honest to God, I don't. Now at the gym, there was this girl in turquoise pants last night. It was distracting. It was distracting. But the girl that shows up at your house to be a handy person, I'm not like, oh, hey, let me drive that nail in. Like, it's just not the way I work. I'm not wired that way. Monty, I'll build your deck at cost. Never done it before, but I'll figure it out. Exactly right. Yeah, sorry, man. He's still out of town. Teddy Wayman referred me to a contractor. And I love the conversation I had with the guy. The guy's like, hey, man, I would love to do this for you right now, but I have a hunting trip. And it might take me a day, and it might take me 10 days. He said, I really need it to take like 3 days because I've got work to do. And I was like, cool. The guy's hunting. What am I going to say? No. Like I really see, like Teddy, and I'm not even, shining you. It was really nice that the guy's like, hey, I'm just going to be honest with you. I could be out of town 2 or 3 days or 10 days. When I get back, I'm going to call you and we'll figure this out. And that's cool. I appreciate that.
That's the biggest thing. If people were just honest, like this is what happened with the paver guy. If the paver guy would have just been like, yeah, dude, like this is probably going to take me 2 weeks. This is probably going to take me 2 weeks. And if I get done before that, great.
Yeah. The pavers turned out great, by the way.
What did he say? Oh, it's going to take me 4 days.
Yeah, he said we'll start Monday. It'll be done on Friday. Done. It took him 2 weeks. And then we had to haggle. It is what it is. The burger challenge is going to be Wendy's, In-N-Out, and Five Guys. Okay. And then why don't we throw in a local? Why don't we do like a a Crown Burger. We'll do Crown Burger because there's one right up in Sandy,
Okay.
right by the amphitheater there.
Okay. Cool.
So we'll throw in a Crown Burger.
Okay.
And then
you guys need to watch that video. We need votes. It's not up to us. It's up to you guys.
yeah. So I'm going to put my vote in.
I'm going to leave that right there.
I knew as soon as
I'm
I
going to
said
leave
it.
that right there.
Play the music. Darn it. Play the music. All right. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the show. If you're here right now, please give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. That really helps the channel grow, and the channel is growing. We really appreciate you guys every day for being a part of the show. We are at 2,181 subscribers.
Let's go.
So we are a mere 319 subscribers away from giving away a Traeger.
We got about 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably about 2 weeks. We'll give away a Traeger Ironwood 650. Really appreciate you guys. Brightlark says off topic, but if you guys want great pizza and beer, go to Slackwater in Sandy.
Heard great
My
things
wife,
about Slackwater.
we've been there.
Oh, yeah, we went there.
My
that one
wife
time.
loves Slackwater. Loves it. Anyway. All right, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Thursday Night Football, we'll have an NFL lock that's never going to hit. Let's just be honest about it. And we'll be getting you ready for weekend football. BYU, Utah, NBA training camps are opening. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.